I've always been the underdog with the upset game when the sunset came. I'm Michael, and on stage, so that people know which Michael in the world I am, I'm called the Holdup. Uh, that's it. I am the Holdup. I'm not the Holdup, but the music that I make is the Holdup. I'm personally Michael. I'm professionally Michael too. Not Michael 2 the number, but Michael also. I'm also the Holdup professionally, and then personally I'm Michael.
I love it. So, buying time is rolling out in parts. Why split this chapter up instead of just dropping one full project?
Because I'm still working on the songs in real time.
That's a good that's a good
That's
solid
why,
answer.
because
I
they're
mean,
not done.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Awesome.
and also, it's fun. It's
Mm,
fun to have something like not to just blow your wad on the like immediately. You string people along. It feels like an event. It feels like something to latch onto and like look forward to for months instead of just like here it is.
right. And I
You
think
know.
taking your time is more passion can go into that too and,
Yeah.
more intent.
Yeah, I also have extremely high technical standards, and that's why it took so long. I had so much lead time before the album was supposed to drop to finish it, and I just couldn't because it wasn't good enough. And so we were like, "Fuck it, let's drop it in 4 parts, and I'll just finish it as we drop it."
Love it. That's great. And what made songs like Back Then and Girls Love Toast worth revisiting right now?
Because people love them. I actually could never hear them again and be ecstatic, but the fan base fucking loves them, and I want to give the fans what they want because without them, there would be no hold up.
Right.
So their happiness is I guess it's equally important. My happiness and their happiness. It doesn't make me unhappy to redo them. It actually makes me happy because I got sick of playing the old versions. And I might be jumping into another question that you
That's
have coming
good.
down the line.
I love it. No, no.
Anyway, those songs are worth revisiting literally just because they're in the top songs of my
Okay.
streamed catalog.
Okay. And the holdup is always mixed reggae, pop, hip hop, and mixed with like the real good laid back songwriting. Which side feels strongest live right now?
Um, Honestly, my main priority is to just no particular side. Maybe a side you didn't name. It's more rock.
Yeah, yeah.
Not rock, not like rock, but rock in the sense that like I'm trying to make everything feel very live and guitar oriented
Mm,
because I'm gay for John Mayer and I basically just want to do my version of John Mayer on stage. That's the most fun thing for me
right.
to play bluesy guitar solos, and I can really only do that if the rest of the music feels live and
Mm,
supports that. So it's less hip hop than ever. Also, I feel like hip hop it just doesn't authentically lend itself to my personality like I thought it did when I was in my teens and 20s. So, whatever goes away from that direction. You know what I mean? Does that make
yeah.
sense?
Definitely does make sense.
Yeah.
I think you have a really good, unique sound. I love it. I caught the whole entire set.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
And
that.
your songs can feel very casual on the surface, but still hit personal topics. How do you keep that balance?
Um I like to talk about things in a light I like to talk about heavy things in a light way
Mm,
because my personal experience of life has been very heavy a lot of my life, but I don't think that romanticizing sadness is practical. And I think that if you're going to talk about like personal and heavy shit, there's a utility in not making it also feel heavy.
mhm.
You give people Cause like if you're gonna make sad songs about sad things, I don't know. That's just not my personality. I don't like to feel sad. I don't like to feel dark. For whatever reason, my disposition has just been prone to those feelings.
Mm.
But I like things that are fun and not very serious and irreverent. So does that make sense? So
Yeah.
it's like a marriage between serious stuff,
It's
but
like a
presented in
cynical outlook on things sometimes. Like you're very upbeat, glass half full.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I
I'm
mean?
not. Yes, I'm not cynical at all. I'm just my outlook is very optimistic
Okay.
on life. I just experience heavy emotions and
Okay.
dark stuff. But it doesn't does that make sense?
Mhm.
So I might feel depressed, often, but life still seems like beautiful and good
Right.
in on an intellectual, non-chemical level, if that makes sense.
Right.
So that's why my music is that way.
Okay. And what song in the current state best shows where the holdup is at right now?
Uh, like it is in the catalog at all,
Yeah, I
or
mean,
of the
like, which
new
one do you think
versions?
is like, like really sets up at like if you were to show it to someone who's never heard of you,
This is
this
me.
is me.
This is the essence of
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Those songs aren't out yet.
Oh, I love
The
that.
next album is all new music, and
Okay.
those songs really hit on what I've been trying to do for a long time.
Okay.
Uh, the thing is, I built a fan base that loves this sound, but the sound was developed by me missing the mark for decades. It's me trying to do this thing, but not being able to accomplish what I have in my head. And I'm finally reaching that threshold.
Okay.
But people loved the miss. You know,
Right.
I missed the target, but people loved it. So I built a career off it. Personally, I'm now starting to like create that cohesive vision that I've been trying to make for a long time.
Right.
And so those songs aren't out yet. But if I had to pick one that's out, there's something about Pussy or God that does it for me
Right.
musically. Maybe not topically exactly, but musically.
Yeah, I love the whole that song's not out yet is such a masterful response to, in my opinion, because it's like what a plug to the future as
Yeah,
well. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
stay tuned.
Yeah, for sure.
And Reggae Rise Up brings that mixed crowd like we talked about earlier with that hip hop, rock, reggae, alternative, vibe and everything. What do you hope the new listeners that you got today caught from your set?
What do I hope they caught?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I just hope it felt like a cohesive identity, musical identity, and something refreshing, and not like something that's like, oh, you kind of fit here, but like we don't get it.
Right.
I just hope people that I hope people get it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think when people get it is when you've done the work to figure out how to present the essence of yourself musically. 'Cause
Right.
I think a lot of people mash things together, but they don't do it in line with like it's not refined. It's just like, oh yeah, this sounds like reggae, hip hop, rock, like all mixed in one, but it doesn't sound like a new, unique thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I hope. I hope people go, this sounds like a singular thing,
Yeah.
not like they can separate all the things. It just sounds like a
It's its
mashup.
own thing.
Yeah, like it's taken all the things together, and now we see something new,
Yeah.
as opposed to we just see the parts.
Right. Yeah. I love that.
If that
That's
makes
great.
sense.
No, it does make perfect sense, brother. And being someone that like really has been like, very started off like real strong independent musician and everything, how would you give what words of advice would you give to someone who's trying to start out basically in your footsteps?
Um, my answer might not be like a healthy one, but I think that people too often romanticize the professional artist. I think that the advice that just like follow your passion and that's it,
Hmm.
and like it's a fucking business, and people think that that's a bad word. They want to keep it like being authentic does not mean don't cultivate your image and your brand and your sound in the context of a business.
Right.
Those things are not antonyms. That I think being your authentic self is trying really hard and thinking really critically. And people usually think it's the opposite. They think just be yourself, don't overthink it, otherwise you won't be yourself. I think in this world and the fact that you're trying to make your art a business, the only way to cut through the noise is by critically understanding who you are and
Mm.
distilling it down to its essence. And that sounds kind of like nebulous, but like that's because it's a complex fucking process. I think you just have to be relentlessly critical and curious about what you make. You can't just make it and go, this is me because I made it.
Right.
You have to go, like, is this good enough?
Hmm.
This is me because I made it, but are people going to get who I am
Right.
through it? Because you might just make it unconsciously and then you made something, but like are people who don't know you going to understand what you're trying to accomplish through that music?
Right.
Or did you make something that's going to mislead them to think,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what's really hard is you might know yourself in a way that you don't have to articulate, but when you have to articulate it or convey it through music, you got to do work.
Right.
You can't just intuitively. Some people.
Yeah, yeah.
There are exceptions to the rule. There are savants artistically who intuitively know who they are out of the womb. But I think for most of us who are not those geniuses, it's an incredible amount of work to make something that is authentic and great.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think the honest answer is the good answer, really. Rather than, like you said, just being bluntly like, just be yourself, do your thing kind of thing.
Yeah,
The
it's
honest answer
no.
is the better answer because
Yeah,
that's the better advice.
if you want to be great, it fucking hurts.
Yeah.
It's not there are the problem is the famous exceptions to the rule are already famous, and so people think, oh, they're the most known exceptions to the rule. People are like, oh, well, they did it, so I can do that. No, they are 1 in a billion.
Yeah.
That's not going to work for you. The odds are you can't just be an artist and it's going to work out, you know?
Yeah.
You're going to have to fucking think the shit to death.
Yeah. It takes a lot of grit.
So, yeah, a lot of grit, and I think a lot of analysis and self awareness and being really critical about your own shit.
Hell yeah. Final thoughts?
My final thoughts?
Your final thoughts, final words,
in
anything.
general?
Yeah, yeah. Anything in general. What are you feeling? What
Peace
are you
and
thinking?
love, man.
Hell yeah. Awesome.
Appreciate you, dude.
Appreciate you. Thank you for giving me this time. I know you're busy. I know you're working hard, man. Really hot out here. Loved the set and everything.
Appreciate you.
So yeah, thank you so much, brother.
Thanks.
I've always been the underdog with the upset game when the sunset came.